We saw Anthony Davis go down last night with what appeared to be a groin strain in his left thigh in Game 4 of the NBA playoffs. This seemed to be a very concerning one because immediately after he went down onto the floor, we saw him grab at that left groin area and he would leave the game. Now, on the actual play that we saw Davis get injured on, he was going up for a layup, and as he was coming down onto the floor, we saw that his left leg got put in sort of a stretched position, and immediately after going fully to the floor, we saw him really grabbing at that left groin area. Davis was, of course, due to have an MRI today to determine the severity of the injury. The result of that MRI officially is in. He has officially been diagnosed with a groin strain, and currently he is questionable for Game 5 against the Phoenix Suns. Now, unfortunately for Davis, he was already dealing with a sprained left knee going into Game 4, and he was very optimistic about coming into that game and doing well. Sources are saying that he is also very optimistic about going into Game 5, so we're going to have to wait and see how he does with everything in the meantime to determine his availability for that game. But since some people may not be too familiar with a groin strain and the grades of groin strains, I'm going to go ahead and focus on that in today's video. Welcome, basketball fans. For those of you that aren't familiar with me, my name is Nick Gallo and I'm a doctor of physical therapy. With this video, we're going to take a very close look at Anthony Davis's most recent left groin strain in Game 4 against the Phoenix Suns. First, I'll start off by showing the play that Davis was injured on so that we get a good visualization for his mechanism of injury. Then I'll go over the anatomy associated with a groin strain and the grading system that is used to determine the severity of the injury. And finally, I'll go over what to expect moving forward when a person suffers something known as a groin strain. If you like today's video and you find it informative, please hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel because I will be making more videos in the future regarding sports injuries, rehabilitation, and other physical therapy related content. Also, if you have any comments or questions, please leave those in the comment section below. Now to begin, we'll go ahead and take a look at the injury. Here we see Davis gets the ball, goes up for the layup, falls down, and starts to grab at that left medial thigh area. In this other angle, we see that as he goes up for the layup, as soon as he begins to fall, that left leg seems to be stretched out as he's falling down to the floor. Now, when a person is diagnosed with something known as an adductor strain, a groin strain, typically what they are referring to is a group of muscles known as the adductor muscles. Now, of course, here I have a model of the hip and the leg. And so essentially what is going to happen with these adductor muscles is their predominant action is adduction or adduction, as sometimes it's referred to, of the lower extremity. This is when a person is going to bend the leg going inwards, and another movement that is the actual opposite of adduction is abduction or abduction, and this is when a person is moving the leg to the side away from the midline. Now, the adductor muscles are a group of muscles that are located predominantly along the medial or the inside portion of the thigh, and a lot of these muscles actually originate onto this femur bone. And what happens is the muscles, because they originate onto the femur bone, they are going to come up and insert onto an area in through here known as the inferior pubic ramus. Now, a few of them do not actually insert into there, but predominantly the major adductors of the thigh will insert into those two areas. Now, when a person suffers something known as a groin strain, typically what's happening is a person is getting a lot of overstretching of the affected muscles. So you can think of a person that is going to in a forced split position or something like that, where it's going to cause a lot of excess stretching of that lower extremity. And that is sort of what we saw with Anthony Davis. We saw that as he was coming down from that layup, that left leg seemed to extend out, and it was actually going into a little bit of something known as external rotation, which is going to place a lot of stretch and strain onto those adductor muscles in the medial thigh. And of course, as Davis was laying on the floor, we saw him grab a lot at that medial thigh area, particularly where a lot of those adductor muscles originate. So the fact that he was officially diagnosed with that groin strain after seeing the MRI, this is really no surprise to us because everything seemed to be pointing towards that specific type of an injury. Now, there is, of course, a grading system when it comes to groin strains, and that is grade 1, 2, and 3. In a grade 1 groin strain, typically a person is going to get excessive stretching of the affected tissue, but there's not going to be any muscle tearing. In a grade 2, you're going to get that abnormal excessive stretching and some partial muscle tearing. And finally, in a grade 3, this is where we're going to see a full tear of the affected muscle. As of right now, we don't know officially what grade of groin strain that Davis is dealing with, but the fact that as of right now, Frank Vogel and the Lakers have said that he is day-to-day makes me believe that he's not dealing with a grade 3, more so a grade 1 or a grade 2. Of course, the MRI is going to show if there's any muscle tearing and things like that. Unfortunately, we don't know that as of right now, but based on the fact that they're saying that he is day-to-day and he's not out of the playoffs and he's scheduled to potentially play, makes me believe that he's dealing with more of a grade 1 or a grade 2. Typically, when a person is seen for an acute groin strain, we're going to use that acronym RICE. R for rest, I for ice, C for compression, E for elevation. And then as the person starts to do a little bit better with things, typically at about the 7-day mark when a person is no longer in that inflammatory phase, then we're going to add in some more range of motion exercises and then progress strengthening and sport specific after that. But once again, this of course is really going to depend on the severity and the grade of the injury. This can greatly impact a person's recovery time and can be anywhere from a few days up to a few weeks. So as of right now, it's really important that we follow Davis's case moving forward and we see whether or not the Lakers are going to release any information about his specific injury. If we happen to hear any specific details, such as the exact grade of the injury or how he's doing with the rehab process and his follow-up appointments, I'll be sure to update everybody in the comment section. Also, if you happen to hear any updates, please also feel free to update in the comment section as well. And that's it as of right now regarding Anthony Davis's most recent left groin strain in Game 4 against the Phoenix Suns. Once again, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you find today's content really informative, please subscribe to the channel because I will be making more videos in the future. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.